as you can see, joining me today is Chris Mack. How are you, Chris?
I'm fantastic. It's good to talk to you. We haven't talked. We've known each other for a while, but we actually haven't really talked for some time. At least not on in face to face. Yeah, we used to do stand up together years and years ago, 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah. No, I well remember. I think. Well, I was certainly pretty new to stand-up comedy at that stage, and
we all were.
You know, it was good to see a friendly face there, happy to chat and talk about stuff. And I remember at that stage, it would have been about 10 years ago, about 2010-ish.
I think it was, yeah. And well, because we were both just a little bit older than everyone else. Everyone else was kind of young students, and we were kind of slightly older than everyone, so we kind of had to stick together a little bit.
Well, you were slightly older. I was way older. That extra level above.
Yeah, I was trying to lump us in together.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's very kind. So how do you sort of fill your days at the moment? Are you finding you're still busy, or is everything just sort of changed? You've got a lot more online stuff, like a lot of us have.
A lot of online stuff. The first week, I was like, this is it. I'm going to be so productive. I'm going to come out of here with like an album's worth of songs. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
About, I'm going to say 4 days into that, I was like, you know what else is good? Beer. And so that really, that took over the productivity. So honestly, I only have just started picking up the guitar again. It took me a few weeks of just no motivation. I think not everyone, I think a certain mindset of people, there's just no motivation. I really lacked it, but I'm kind of feeling good now. I never was depressed or anything. I was just like, what's the point? Let's watch some TV.
So your family all safe and well and healthy and all that? Yep.
Yeah, we're great. It's my wife and my daughter and I. And so we've been, the first week and a bit, we watched a movie every night. Everyone chose a movie. We kind of got a bit sick of that for some reason. We've been eating well. I've been going on long runs because I love running. So that's kind of splitting up the day a bit. They're going for runs and bike rides, and everyone seems pretty good. Stella's doing school online. That's my wife. No, that's my daughter.
Let's get that right.
So I think they're doing maths homework as we speak, because I said I'm on a very important call. Do not come near me.
Absolutely.
This is important stuff. You are banished to the room.
Hey, let's talk about the last time I saw you guys live was during the, your support for Ed Sheeran, Mr. Sheeran.
Mm-hmm.
That what an amazing time that was. That must have been a pretty awesome sort of move for you guys at the time, because we're going back a couple of years now, I suppose, aren't we? Did that sort of take you up to another notch or another level?
I'm not sure what it did. I guess it did. I guess it put us in a. Here's the thing: you can be added as an opening slot to a big artist and it not be anything. But I think we were added for some weight, so it wasn't just like Ed Sheeran and someone there. We were kind of added to be like, there's a bill. I think that did have New Zealanders thinking about us slightly different and allowed us to look at playing some of these stadiums ourselves, which obviously we've done a couple of times now. But because I remember we got the phone call and we were all a bit iffy about it, to be honest. Not because we don't like Ed Sheeran's music or we just were like, hang on, are we an opening? We've been working so hard to not be an opening band, and then all of a sudden, I'm glad we did it, and it was the most fun shows because like they give you like half an hour, 40 minutes, and it's early, so you kind of rock up, and we got enough of a following that people came early to watch us, and then we play for half an hour, 40 minutes, and then we bugger off and go have a drink.
Knock off early.
It was we literally had nothing to lose. It was beautiful.
Yeah, no, fond memories of that concert. We had 3 back-to-back ones down in Dunedin here, and our family went. We're fans of both bands. My kids and wife are probably more fans of Ed Sheeran than I am, but I certainly enjoyed seeing you guys play at the beginning, and what I think I mentioned to you at the time, one thing that stuck out for me was just your physical presence on stage, and the way you move around is just that alone is worth the price of admission. Just seeing you bounding around the stage, just a ball of energy. It's just so
I do like to have fun. I do like to have fun on stage. I've become more and more. I used to, because I've always liked moving around on stage, but it was more like I'm going to move around on stage. It was very calculated, and it was decided that I would expend energy. I knew it came from a place of, I just wanted to do it. But in the last few years, it's got to from it's a much more organic place of I'm now more comfortable on stage, and so I can just move around how I want. So it kind of switched a few. In fact, it was just before those shows, I would say that little light switch in my head was like, okay, you already know how to move, but now just do it from a place of inside out rather than I'm moving, But I remember one of those shows. It might have been the one. Which one did you go to? Do you remember? Second night, third night?
Oh, I think it was the middle one. Yeah, the Saturday, was it? Saturday night?
Yeah. So
I'm
entirely positive then you saw the show. Me and Macho, our singer, were both kind of bounding around on playing Rolling Stones, I believe was the song. And he was wearing big boots that night, and he accidentally stood on my Achilles and dug into my skin, dug into my flesh. And I was wearing white jeans, and my shoes and my white jeans just filled up with blood. It was excruciating pain for the next couple of songs, and then and I never let him forget it.
Jeepers, it could have been worse though, couldn't it? You didn't hear any snapping or anything like that?
No, it definitely could have been worse, but it was so uncomfortable.
You better tell us what's coming up ahead in the immediate near future for you guys for the band. I think you've got gigs coming up in Dunedin, or you did do. Are they postponed or?
We played in Dunedin. We luckily just scraped that Dunedin in. It was a week before everyone started going, oh, maybe we shouldn't have gigs. We were none the wiser, and neither was Joe Public. So we just snuck in that was our last show of the New Zealand tour. So it was very lucky that we got to finish that.
It's good timing, yeah.
Yeah, we feel really fortunate. It's put a damper on. We had a lot of overseas stuff to do this year, like a lot. But what it means is as soon as, in fact, we were just on a group message with the boys just before I jumped on here. As soon as we're in level 2, we're going to go have like a writing camp, just hang out and get some new music out there, because we know we can't tour, so we may as well start making music. We also have a documentary that was set to release last week, but of course no one can go to the movies, so that's been postponed as well. So keep an eye out for that. It's really cool. It was filmed over the span of around 2 years. Kind of follows our story. It's a bit of a snapshot into New Zealand identity, and it's really cool. It's a really beautifully shot documentary, directed. Julia did a great job with that, and that's something I'm really looking forward to once theatres are open again. So please, once it comes out, even if you hate our music, and people have made their mind up at this point whether they care for us or not, but you don't know. You never know what our next album is going to sound like. You might like it because it's going to be a completely different process. But either if you like us or you don't, I mean, well worth watching this documentary. It's an interesting story about 5 absolutely diametrically opposed people. We're all so different. We're completely different upbringings, different music sensibilities, different processes. And the fact that we can get into a room together and even hold a conversation, let alone not murder each other, is a bizarre miracle.
That must be the secret to success, perhaps, the secret ingredient.
I think so. That's the special sauce, if you like.
Dealing with, managing the differences that you have. Yeah. Like any good relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot with some random multi-choice questions. And,
you've got questions, I've got answers.
Excellent. When Michael Jordan played for the Chicago Bulls, how many NBA championships did he win? Do you know much about basketball?
I know zero about sport in general, but I think, I believe...
So you've got four options. 4, 6, 3, or 12.
I was going to say 4. That was my initial idea. So 4 is my initial response.
Ooh, it's close. It was 6, actually.
6. Because I know he got the 3, and then he left and he came back, and I knew he got 1 more, but apparently he got 2 more. Is that right?
Yeah, he got 6,
Mind you, I could be wrong about all of that, by the way. But that's in my head what happened.
You were closer than I was. I guessed 12, so I was way off.
Okay.
Right, which planet is the hottest in the solar system? Earth, Mars, Mercury, or Venus?
Imagine if you'd said earth, wind, or fire. That would have been great.
I should have too. I might be able to edit that in later. Yeah, I just have to get the lip syncing right.
Yeah. Earth, Mercury, Venus, or what?
Mars. Yeah.
Well, I want to say Mercury, based on name.
Does sound like a hot planet, doesn't it?
It sure does.
But you'd be wrong. It's Venus.
Venus, come on, little Venus.
That's the one that you can see in the sky because it's so massive, right? I think.
Is it?
I think so. I'm not.
That's
an
just
expert.
over there. It's behind me. When I go outside at night, it's there. Yeah. So okay, cool. Well, look, I'm learning things and looking stupid in the process.
Right, the third one. This will be an interesting one. Which animal can be seen on the Porsche logo? A rabbit, horse, bear, or dog? On the Porsche logo. I got this wrong.
A rabbit? It's not a horse because horse is a Mustang, right? So surely they can't live in the same world. Porsche, we had a rabbit, we had a bear, and we had what?
Horse, rabbit, bear, dog.
I'm gonna.
I struggled with this one.
I'm gonna say dog.
No, I said bear, but we're both wrong. It is the horse.
What?
So there you go. I can't even picture it now that we're talking about it.
I really can't picture it.
I'll have to look it up. Actually, I'm usually pretty good with
I'm gonna look it up now while you do
logo. Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I can do that. You asked the next question. I'm listening.
Okay. You'll nail this one. Which country produces the most coffee in the world? South Africa, Brazil, China, or the US?
South Africa, China, Brazil, or the US? Well, my gut says Brazil, but my gut's always wrong. But I'm going to stick with it.
Good man. You're right. Yep.
Oh, thank
Brazil.
God.
Yep. Got that one. So what's that 1 out of 4?
Yeah.
Well, the next one's 50-50, and I think next one's 50-50. So you got a good chance of getting at least 2 out of 5.
Of course it is. If you stopped for a second, we would have thought of it. Look at that. Of course.
Yes.
Man,
it looks familiar now, doesn't it?
Yeah. All right.
Right. True or false? Babies are born without kneecaps. Sounds weird.
I don't even care what the answer is. That's the funniest question anyone's ever asked me.
No, it's great, isn't it?
Babies born without kneecaps. I've had a baby. Well, I mean, I didn't, physically, obviously. That'd be a miracle of nature.
That would be a headline, yeah.
Yeah, to say the least. They do have smushy knees, don't they? But isn't the kneecap... I'm going to say no. I'm going to say. Did you say? Is it without? I'm going to say without.
Yeah, you're correct. It's true. Yeah,
Yes.
I had to guess that one too because I thought I've never heard that before. But when you think about it, I mean, they're not very good walkers when they're first born, are they? So kneecaps kind of help.
House at it actually.
So they must grow kneecaps pretty quickly then.
Well, don't they?
There you go.
Yeah.
We both learned something today.
I'm going to read up about that.
Hey, thanks again, Chris, and great to catch up. And hopefully we'll be able to have a coffee or a drink in person next time we meet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than a virtual coffee or drink.
Yeah, but this has been lovely. It's been really fun. Yeah, thanks for having me. All the best. We'll definitely catch up for that. Whenever we can leave our homes again, we may see each other.